stars have many things in common. They are international attractions, respected by the entire entertainment industry, responsible for millions at the box office, and none has ever won an Oscar. Deborah Kerr and Irene Dunne have even more in common. They both played the same role. In 1946, Irene Dunne starred in Anna and the King of Siam. 10 years later, Deborah Kerr starred in the musical version, The King and I. Both actresses are among Hollywood's most Oscar-nominated stars, 5 times for Irene and 6 times for Deborah. And yet neither has ever won that highest of acting honors. Oscar's oversight is certainly no comment on talent. Many of the most popular, critically acclaimed, even legendary names have missed out on the industry's most prestigious award. Would you believe Sean Connery, Natalie Wood, and Rosalind Russell? There's no question if Oscars were won for audience appeal and high box office, Bob Hope would surely have one. But no. Certainly this fabulous gentleman has at least one Oscar. Fred Astaire, wrong again. Join us as we show you performances you'd be willing to bet were Academy Award winners, as That's Hollywood explores the mystery of the stars Oscar forgot.
I'm gonna win.
1958 was a banner year for Oscar's Best Actor. The nominees were Spencer Tracy for The Old Man and the Sea, David Niven for Separate Tables, both Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis for The Defiant Ones, and first-time nominee Paul Newman for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Do you remember who won? David Niven walked off with the award every actor dreams about winning. And Paul Newman learned one of the hard facts of Oscar life. First-time nominees rarely win. But you can't keep a brilliant actor down. And Newman's performance in The Hustler earned him a second nomination.
Win, you said. Win. That's the important thing. If you don't know what winning is, Bert, you're a loser. Because you're dead inside. And you can't live unless you make everything else dead around you.
This time he must have won, right? Wrong. 1961's Best Actor was Maximilian Schell.
If I take it, she never lived. She never died. And we both know that's not true, Bert. No, huh? She lived, she died.
They say third time lucky. So in 1963, when Newman won another nomination, this time for HUD, the industry was sure he would win.
I'm about to put him into the hospital.
That's so. Why, has he been bothering you?
No, he ain't bothering me. It's her he's bothering.
You didn't offer him any encouragement by any chance, did you there, young lady?
No.
It's funny. I was sitting way on the other side of the room, and I got a little bit encouraged. Maybe it's the way you move around inside that dress.
All right, smart guy, I'll take you instead.
Oh, I don't want to be hoggish. Lon, you want a piece of it?
The industry was wrong. Sidney Poitier was named Best Actor that year. '67 placed Newman's terrific performance in Cool Hand Luke against Warren Beatty in Bonnie and Clyde, Rod Steiger for In the Heat of the Night, Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate, and for the third time against Spencer Tracy, starring in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Guess who won? Neither Tracy nor Newman, but Rod Steiger. Paul Newman's not out. He's not even down. He keeps on exciting audiences with marvelous performances like this one in Fort Apache, the Bronx.
I think you guys are trying to take my job. What's the matter with him?
Post-operative depression. Just delivered a baby.
You all right?
Oh, yeah. It's my 17th in 14 years up here.
17. You could almost be an obstetrician. You need a drink.
I need a nurse.
You supply the booze, I'll supply the nurse.
You asking me out?
Maybe.
I get asked out by about 200 nurses every day. Why should I say yes to you?
Because you say yes to all the others.
You can bet there's an Oscar in Paul Newman's future. Your favorite stars are probably in this group. Do you remember which won Oscars? Not James Dean, not Glenn Ford, not Lee J. Cobb or Al Pacino. In 1964, both Richard Burton and Peter O'Toole were nominated for their splendid performances in Beckett.
My lord, don't do this.
Which actor won the Oscar? If you said neither, you're right. Split votes rarely win, and the award went to Rex Harrison for his performance in My Fair Lady.
You can be ordained priest and consecrated archbishop the next day. Have you considered what the Pope would say? I'll pay his price. My lord, this frightens me.
Incidentally, of the stars Oscar forgot, Richard Burton is the most nominated, an incredible 7 times.
I beg of you, do not do this.
Steve McQueen never won an Oscar, but no one will ever forget his powerful presence. The Sand Pebbles brought him a nomination, but it couldn't turn the 1966 tide of A Man for All Seasons, which swept the awards that year, including a Best Actor Oscar for Paul Scofield.
He brought a couple of bottles of booze, and he was charging double for drinks. I never liked him anyhow, so I hung one on him. Thing was, though, I was going to get my diploma in a couple of months. So I went to see the principal. He was one of them soft, smiley kind of guys. He said, well, if you sign this paper saying you were the one that brought the booze, well, that'll be that. So like a bonehead, I signed it. And then he looks at the paper, he kind of smiles. He says, well, I'll have to think about it. So I guess I started swinging. I forgot he was wearing glasses, and I put out his eye. So anyhow, the judge says you got 3 choices. Army, Navy, Reform School.
Well, why did you pick the Navy?
Well, ain't much water in Utah.
In 1947, 2 outstanding actors were among those nominated for a Best Supporting Award.
Why don't you give me a chance?
It was the very first and only nomination for Edmund Gwenn, co-starring in Miracle on 34th Street with 8-year-old Natalie Wood, a 3-time nominee herself, but never a winner.
I want a backyard with a great big tree to put a swing on and... I guess you can't get it, huh?
I didn't say that. No. Well, it's a tall order, but I'll do my best.
It was also the first nomination for Richard Widmark. In spite of his startling performance in Kiss of Death, Widmark lost to Edmund Gwenn. Amazingly enough, Richard Widmark has never even received a second nomination.
Oh, well, why not? The whole thing's a joke.
If the Richard Widmark story surprises you, consider the case of this Hollywood legend, Edward G. Robinson. In a career that spanned 46 years and 87 films, Edward G. Robinson was never at any time nominated for an Oscar.
Testimonies. Made me a little bet that I couldn't come up here tonight and pull the wool over your eyes. By George, I'd have taken his money, too, if Henderson here hadn't been so careless with...
Edward G. Robinson, truly one of the stars Oscar forgot.
Yes, sir. I'd have walked out of this room tonight Avery L. Brown, class of 1917. The best tackle for his weight the old school ever had.
Do you recognize the brilliant actor behind these faces? It's Orson Welles, an actor who has created a multitude of unique characters.
I made no campaign promises because until a few weeks ago, I had no hope of being elected.
His very first screen role, the millionaire publisher of Citizen Kane, is recognized as one of the classics of all time. It brought him an Oscar nomination and international fame. That year, 1941, Welles lost to Gary Cooper in Sergeant York. Believe it or not, Hollywood's genius has never been nominated again. Coming up, more of the stars Oscar forgot. Judy Garland, Fred Astaire, Bob Hope, and Marilyn Monroe. Let's take another crack at the Oscar game. Which one of these superstars won an Oscar? If you said Kirk Douglas or Barbara Stanwyck, you'd be wrong. Jill Clayburgh? Marsha Mason? Robert Mitchum? No award. Only Charlie Chaplin got an Oscar, and that was not for a single performance, but a special honorary award. Oscar seems to have been especially forgetful when it comes to the great musical stars. Case in point, Judy Garland. There truly has never been anyone else in the movies quite like her.
There are going to be a good many songs and a good many shows for you. It may be difficult for you to understand now, but one day you'll realize you've got to give and take, whether you like it or not.
I'll never take a song away from anyone else, especially if it's their first real chance.
Sally, please don't put this on a personal basis. I don't want to take the song away from you.
Then why are you doing it?
Mr. Dillingham thinks it's best for the show.
This musical performance, Until the Clouds Roll By, is the Judy we remember, but she received her only Oscar nomination for A Star is Born in 1954. It was her first dramatic role after a lifetime of musicals. Perhaps the switch in career was too abrupt for the Academy voters, who awarded the Oscar that year to Grace Kelly in The Country Girl.
Means my happiness too. Would I answer yes to? Well, you ought to guess who. No one but you.
But another Kelly, the fabulous Jean that is another neglected song and dance superstar. In 40 years of movie making and splendid performances like this one, Jean has won awards all over the world, but never an Oscar and only a single nomination. The same is true of this giant talent, Fred Astaire. This is the way audiences all over the world will always remember the song and dance man whose routines were just like his style, absolutely incomparable. But this is the image that won Fred Astaire's Oscar nomination for his supporting role in Irwin Allen's Towering Inferno. Dramatic, not musical. Did Oscar smile on Fred in 1974? Or was it Jeff Bridges in Thunderbolt and Lightfoot? Or Robert De Niro? Michael Gazzo? Or Lee Strasberg, all in Godfather 2? Sorry, Fred. The Oscar went to Robert De Niro.
I don't know why I keep expecting myself to fall in love, but I do. Well, I know I expect to someday.
Another of the brightest lights in movie musicals and comedies changed her image in Bus Stop, hoping that her touching performance would prove she was more than a sex symbol. But it didn't even win her a nomination. Not then, not ever. Marilyn Monroe, a star Oscar forgot.
Honey, I almost married a cousin of mine when I was 14, but Pappy wouldn't have it. Naturally, I'd like to get married and have a family and all them things. But you've never been in love? I don't know. Maybe I have and I didn't know it. That's what I mean. Maybe I don't know what love is.
In 1940, nominees for Best Actor were Laurence Olivier, Charlie Chaplin, Raymond Massey, Jimmy Stewart, and Henry Fonda for one of the memorable performances of all time in The Grapes of Wrath.
Why don't you get at it, buddy? Get at what? You know what I'm talking about. You've been going over me ever since I got in. Why don't you ask me where I've been?
No one will ever forget Fonda in that classic film, but he lost the Oscar to his best friend, James Stewart, in Philadelphia Story.
Keeping it a secret. I've been in the penitentiary. Been there 4 years. Anything else you want to know?
Well, you ain't got to get sore.
Go ahead, ask me anything.
I didn't mean nothing.
Me neither. I'm just trying to get along without shoving anybody, that's all. See that road ahead? That's where I get out. You're about to bust the guts to know what I done, ain't you? Well, I had a guy to let you down. Homicide.
Henry Fonda is one of those rare actors who can do it all. From the light comedy of Magnificent Dope...
How do you do? That reminds me of a very funny story. Did you hear what one cricket said to the other cricket the first time they met? Good laugh never hurt any of us. That's what I always say.
To the strong drama of the Oxbow incident.
Debbie, I say let's call off this party. Take it back to Judge like Davies wants.
This is only slightly any of your business, my friend. Remember that?
Hanging's any man's business that's around.
If your stomach for justice is cooling, Carter, I advise you to leave now before we proceed any further. Otherwise, your interruptions are going to become very tiresome.
I still don't like it. Hanging murders is one thing, but to keep guys you don't know for sure did it, standing around sweating while you shoot your mouth off, that's another.
Take it easy. This ain't our picnic.
Well, how does it feel to turn 80?
Twice as bad as it did turning 40.
I know what that's like. I turned 45 years ago.
In spite of Oscar's oversight in the years before, 1981 found most of Hollywood banking on Fonda to win that elusive Oscar for On Golden Pond, co-starring Dabney Coleman.
Norman. Huh? Do you mind if I call you Norman?
I believe you just did.
Well, I don't want to press. What should I call your wife?
About Ethel. That's her name. Ethel Thayer. Sounds like I'm lisping, doesn't it? Ethel Thayer. Almost kept her from marrying me.
Yeah?
Wanted me to change my last name to hers.
What was that?
I don't remember.
With work like this, it's hard to believe Fonda could miss this time around.
It's only a mirage. Thought I'd be fooled, didn't you? I know a mirage when I see one. I'm a college man.
If Bob Hope had an Oscar for every time he's joked about not winning, he'd have a house full. He certainly deserves one for a lifetime of laughter in films like Son of Paleface.
Who said you had to dress for dinner? Don't shake your head to me in that tone of voice.
As the Academy's longtime master of ceremonies, Hope made himself the brunt of all those jokes about stars Oscar forgot. In a movie called The Oscar, once again, the joke's on Bob.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the annual Academy Award show. This is Hollywood's big night, so naturally we're holding it in Santa Monica. I'm emceeing the awards because they wanted someone who could lose and keep smiling, and I've had the most practice.
The Academy may have overlooked them up to now. All of these fabulous people who have brought laughter and tears to audiences all over the world. But there's no way their work will ever be forgotten. And there's no question that they'll continue to reach out for excellence and for that prized golden statue, the Oscar, because that's Hollywood.